Today I'll be reading Genesis 46, 47, and Psalm 15. And I'll start with the devotional this plan. After many dark, desolate years, God restores life and joy. He sends Jacob down to Egypt and into the arms of his long lost beloved son. Jacob discovers that the son he presumed dead is now the source of life for many because Joseph trusted God's wisdom. When famine pushes Egypt and Canaan to the brink of starvation, Joseph provides grain to the surrounding nations so that they too may live and not die, just as he had done for his family. In Genesis 12, God promised Abraham and his family would become a blessing to every family or nation on earth, and that anyone who blesses Abraham and his family will themselves be blessed. God also says he will curse or treat lightly those who treat Abraham's family with contempt. It's common to see this as God vowing to oppose anyone who opposes Abraham's genetic line or the people of Israel. However, in the context of Genesis 12, verses 1 to 3, God is talking about his promised blessing being extended to all the world and guaranteeing that it will happen. The idea is that those who refuse to partner with God or try to stop or curse his plan to bless all nations will ultimately fail. God will bless those who bless until his good work is complete. Pay attention as the story of Abraham's family unfolds because God will also oppose them. Then they will reject his blessings. Today's reading shows that promise from God in action when the Pharaoh gives the good land of Goshen to Jacob's family, which is also Abraham's. And Jacob responds by blessing Pharaoh. As Jacob's life comes to an end, he displays increased confidence in God's covenant promises. He urges Joseph not to bury him in Egypt, but to return his body to the land of his ancestors. Jacob's insistence reveals his conviction that God will one day give that land to his family, even if he won't live to see it. God often works slowly, but he always keeps his promises. And some reflection questions for me to think about while I read the chapters. Look back over Genesis chapters 24, verses 1 and 9. What parallels do you notice between the request Abraham makes near the end of his life and the request Jacob makes near the end of his? What does this show you about both stories? Notice that Genesis 46:28 identifies Judah as the son who leads the family to Goshen. Where else have you seen Judah taking a leading role among his brothers in the story, either positively or negatively? What happened in those cases? All right, moving on. Genesis chapter 46. Jacob moves to Egypt. So Israel set out with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices to God and his father Isaac. And God spoke to Israel in visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you a great nation there. I, myself, will go down with you to Egypt, and I myself will also bring you up again. And Jacob will close your eyes with his hand. Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry them, or him. And they took their livestock and their possessions, which they had accumulated in the land of Canaan, and they came to Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him, his sons and his grandsons with him, his daughters and his granddaughters, and all his seed he brought with him to Egypt. Now these are the names of the sons of Israel, of Jacob and his sons, who were coming to Egypt. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Palu, and Hezron and Carmi, the sons of Simeon, Jemuel and Jamin, and Ohad, and Jachin, and Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah, and Onan, and Shelah, and Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Issachar, Tola, and Pavah, and Eob, and Shimbron. The sons of Zebulun, Sered, and Elon, and Jaleel. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Paddan Aram, with his daughter Dinah. All his sons and his daughters numbered 33. The sons of Gad, Ziphion, and Hagi, Shuni, and Isbon, Eri, and Arodi, and Areli. The sons of Asher, Imnah, and Ishva, and Ishvi, and Beriah, and their sister Sarah. And the sons of Beriah, Heber, and Malkiel. These are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Leah, and she bore to Jacob these 16 persons. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. Now to Joseph in the land of Egypt, where were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. The sons of Benjamin, Bela, and Becher, and Ashbel, Gera, and Naaman, Ehi, and Rosh, Muppim, and Huppim, and Erd. These are the sons of Rachel, who were born to Jacob. There were 14 persons in all. The sons of Dan, Hushim, the sons of Naphtali, Jaziel, and Guni, and Jezur, and Shillem. These were the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Rachel, and she bore these to Jacob. There were 7 persons in all the persons belonging to Jacob who came to Egypt, who came out of his loins, excluding the wives of Jacob's son, were 66 persons in all. And the sons of Joseph, who were born to him in Egypt, were 2. All the persons of the house of Jacob who came to Egypt were 70. Now he sent Judah before him to Joseph to point out the way before him to Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen. And Jacob harnessed his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as he appeared before him, he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a long time. Then Israel said to Joseph, "Now I can die, since I have seen your face, that you are still alive." And Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, "I will go up and tell Pharaoh and say to him, 'My brothers and my father's household, who were in the land of Canaan, have come to me. And the men are shepherds, for they have been keepers of livestock, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all they have. And it will be when Pharaoh calls you and says, "What is your occupation?" Then you shall say, "Your servants have been keepers of livestock from our youth and until now, both we and our fathers, that you may live in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians." All right, Genesis 47, Jacob's family settles in Goshen. Then Joseph went in and told Pharaoh and said, "My father and my brothers and their flocks and their herds and all they have had and all that they have come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen." And he took 5 men from among his brothers and set them before Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh said to his brothers, "What is your occupation?" So they said to Pharaoh, "Your servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers." And they said to Pharaoh, "We have come to sojourn in the land, for there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the famine is heavy in the land of Canaan. So now, please let your servants live in the land of Goshen." Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is at your disposal. Have your father and your brothers settle in the best of the land. Let them settle in the land of Goshen. And if you know any excellent men among them, then put them in charge of my livestock." Then Joseph brought his father Jacob and stood before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Jacob, "How many are the days of the years of your life?" So Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The days of the years of my sojourning are 130. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days of the years that my father lived during the days of their sojourning." And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from the presence of Pharaoh. So Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Rameses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with food, according to their little ones. Joseph and the famine. Now there was no food in all the land because the famine was very heavy, so that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. And Joseph gathered all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. Then the money came to an end in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan. So all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, "Give us food, for why should we die in your presence? For our money is gone." Then Joseph said, "Give up your livestock, and I will give you food for your livestock, since your money is gone." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them food in exchange for the horses and the flocks and the herds and the donkeys, and he fed them with food in exchange for all their livestock livestock that year. Then that year came to an end, and they came to him the next year and said to him, "We will not hide from my lord that our money has come to an end, and the livestock are my lord's. There is nothing left for my lord except our bodies and our land. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for food, and and we and our land will be slaves to Pharaoh. So give us seed that we may live and not die, and that the land may not be desolate." So Joseph brought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for every Egyptian sold his field because the famine was severe upon them. Thus the land became Pharaoh's. As for the people, he moved them to the cities from one end of Egypt's border to the other end. Only the land of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had an allotment from Pharaoh, and they ate off the allotment which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their land. Then Joseph said to the people, "Behold, I have today brought you and your land for Pharaoh. Now here is seed for you, and you may sow the land, and it will be at the harvest you shall give a fifth to Pharaoh, and 4/5 shall be your own for seed of the field, and for your food, and for those of your households, and as food for your little ones." So they said, "You have kept us alive. Let us find favor in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's slaves." And Joseph made it a statute concerning the land of Egypt valid to this day, that Pharaoh should have the fifth. Only the land of the priests did not become Pharaoh's. Now Israel lived in the land of Egypt in Goshen, and they took possession of property in it, and were fruitful and became very numerous. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the days of Jacob, the years of his life, were 147 years. Then the days of Israel to die drew near, and he called his son Joseph and said to him, "Please, if I have found favor in your sight, place now your hand under my thigh and deal with me in loving kindness and truth. Please do not bury me in Egypt, but I will lie down with my fathers, and you will carry me out to Egypt and bury me in their burial place." And he said, "I will do as you have said." Then he said, "Swear to me." So he swore to him. Then Israel bowed in worship at the head of the bed. All right, Psalms 15. Who may dwell on your holy mountain? A psalm of David. O Yahweh, who may sojourn in your tent? Who may dwell on your holy mountain? He who walks blamelessly and works righteousness and speaks truth in his heart. He does not slander with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbor, nor takes up a reproach against his friend, in whose eyes a reprobate is despised, but who honors those who fear Yahweh. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. He does not put out his money at interest, nor does he take a bribe against the innocent. He who does these things will never be shaken. All right, that's it for today. I will be back tomorrow.